economic hardship and the economic crisis in the states, we have that the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, says it recorded 339 alleged human rights violation cases in Gombe State in 2024. Its spokesman, Mr. Ali Alola Affinity, said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Gombe on Friday. Alola Affinity said that majority of the cases were on parental neglect, where fathers abandoned their children and wives, citing economic hardship and poverty as reasons for their actions. He said the cases were on the increase due to sustained enlightenment campaigns on human rights violations in the state. According to him, the commission engages civil society organizations, media, religious and community leaders to educate the people and encourage them to speak out against the maniac. The highest in terms of cases is parental neglect, with about 50% of the complaints, including family abandonment without food, clothing and shelter, unlike before when we had fundamental human rights, especially rights to life, dignity, inhuman or degrading treatment, he said. He said the commission had scaled up outreach to address issues of parental neglect and sensitized husbands to the need to fend for their families. Barrister, you were just talking about the case of when you went to the market.
Yes.
And then the price of things actually got you overwhelmed and you were just stunned and like, what is going on? Well, I actually want, this is actually a thing for concern. It's not just in Gombe State that situation like this has actually been going on, of parents, especially fathers, abandoning their wives and children because they can no longer cater for their family. Actually, I was in a space and what I saw actually was a thing of concern. I saw these kids that I actually saw something like that on the video, but this was the same thing I saw. I saw this particular guy eating in an event, and then this lot of kids were actually watching. You know, when he finishes, when anyone finishes, they will take the plate, you know, to finish the remnants from the food. And it's a thing of concern. It means that this whole hunger and starvation thing is actually rising gradually. And then we have the fathers have abandoned their families. These are their responsibilities. Fathers are breadwinners of the families. You know, fathers abandoning kids and their wives because of hunger and hardship. Let me not say hunger, hardship, because it involves shelter, feeding, clothing and whatnot. What is your thoughts about this situation?
You see, like the picture you painted, that one is even good. Nigerians are, permit me to use this phrase, Nigerians are eating death presently. They are eating what they ought not to eat. If you see what some people are eating, these are waste. People are eating waste. What they would have thrown away, that's what they are now forced to eat. Not that they have an alternative, they are forced to eat. Some are eating chaffs that they would have thrown away. It's as bad as, you know, the way I usually gauge this thing is, in my capacity, I usually joke and tell my friends that with my LLBBL.com, because for those who are computer literate, you know, if things are the way they are with me, I use it to gauge others. Last time I went to feed my just 9 kg. You know how much?
I remember you said something like
12,600. The painful aspect of it is that it's just like going to filling station now. You want to buy fuel. And you now say 10,000 naira. They just put the nozzle. In a matter of seconds, they'll put it out. The question is, how much quantity of the fuel is actually pumped into this facility? It's when you drive off that you understand that we're in a mess. And the so-called NNPCL is representing an individual. We have a petroleum minister who is pursuing his private agenda, and we all know it. We are not doubts. Look, I did my project on the legal framework for environmental management in Nigeria, the petroleum industry in focus. I'm familiar on the terrain, or with the terrain, and I know what I'm talking about. There is hunger in the... People are dying. See, let me say this to you. With these crises that are set into Nigeria, most pharmaceutical companies have closed and left. So the prices of drugs have shot up. I was telling a friend, I say, instead of having sickness, let there be hunger. None is good, but it's a terrible thing, because when you are sick, if you struggle to get the money to buy the drugs, if you don't, the foundation upon which drug works is good food. If you don't have good food to eat, if you are struggling to get the money to buy the drugs, it exemplifies what Fela called double wahala for dead body. Because there's the reality on the ground. So you see people suffering and smiling. Now, how many person can afford that 9 kg? And how I know that something has been done to the meterage is how long it will last.
And Barrister, I want to cut you short there quickly.
Yes.
I know, yes, Nigeria is a beautiful country, and then the situation of hardship has actually been a thing of concern in time past. But the thing is, at the moment, for a few months, it's been a more serious situation. You know, I wanted to know, can you actually explicate, can you make me understand the reason why it is more serious, more severe now than it was before?
See, let me tell you. I don't know your family, but your family rises and falls depending on the character and capacity of your father, based on our organogram here, because the man is the head of the home. Like you talk about the concept of breadwinner. There is a legitimate, from cultural level, that it is the man that will provide for the family. Do you understand? Yeah. Even when certain things happen, you see the mother telling the children, go and see your daddy. Do you understand it? That is the legitimate expectation that is on the ground. Nigeria, as a nation, this is not a nation, no. Quote and unquote, it's not a nation. Nigeria is not a nation. I call it a political contraption.
Nigeria is not a nation.
It's a contraption. You know why I call it a contraption? I mentioned to you here that by my analysis, my calculation, I have done an analysis from my university time, and I came to the concept of political calculus of Nigeria. By the political calculus of this country, the country is still fighting civil war. A country that is divided against itself cannot stand. Do you understand it? Okay. There are people from this country that they don't see any, when it comes to politics. I'm saying it without looking back. I'm not an Igbo. Do you understand me? Okay. Any lawyer who opens his mouth and justify why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be in DSS dungeon is offline mentally.
Do
you understand it? No, I'm talking about generally. Right, okay. Do you understand it? So if you are squaring on this, the problem is from our leaders. It's the leadership that is causing this present economic holocaust. Is man-made. That's what is paining me about it.
Present one.
It's man-made. Let me say this to you. If the president meant well for Nigeria, I challenge anybody that is listening to me. You can meet me outside this studio. Anybody from the oil sector, based on my foundation as for the project that I wrote on, if the president meant well for this country, the first thing he would have done when he came into office is to declare state of emergency in the energy sector. Right? Nigeria has what we call globally recognized comparative economic advantage in the production of crude oil. If you know the economic implication of that statement, there are certain things you don't need to talk about. Nigeria has no business with importation of any form of refined product into this country. Nigeria has all it takes in terms of mineral resources, that's crude oil. Nigeria has all it takes in terms of manpower. Do you know, like this country is? If you go to the west, the youth in that area, they are especially gifted in extracting solid mineral resources. The same thing in the north. God also bless the youth of these oil-producing areas. They are able to go into parallel refining of the crude oil. In fact, most of the players in the industry has confirmed that most of the product that these boys are refining can compete even internationally. What any sane nation would have done is to collaborate with that youth, because that is his area of comparative economic advantage. Instead, what you have here is a situation wherein Government, this is what's going on if you don't know. Having used law to steal the oil and gas from their owners, they now share these oil blocks amongst themselves. And they are mining this crude oil, selling it on the international market. They cannot be poor. But God will judge them.
Okay, Barrister, I see. I'm still trying to understand how that relates, how it correlates to the case of
the hunger in the land.
Yes, the hunger in the
this
land.
Is how it relates.
Why it is more severe now than it used to be.
This is how it relates.
Okay.
There is no aspect of the economy, even our lives, that is not affected by oil and gas. That is the umbilical cord.
Okay. So oil and gas actually the initiates. It's
anything that happens, yes. Okay. Like this crisis we're having now is from petroleum products.
Okay.
The moment, if the president had been sincere, he declared state of emergency. You know, some of our brothers, they were deceived into borrowing money to set up modular refinery. They have already built the modular refinery. Then suddenly the federal government now came up with an obnoxious policy. I call it satanic policy. By telling them that even if they are aware that they borrow money to build this modular refinery, instead of giving them crude to refine at subsidized rate, they now told them that if you want your modular refinery to work, you go and buy crude oil at the international market rates. Where is such wickedness done in the world? That's what is. I'm telling you the reality. That's what's on the ground. Okay. I hope you had the scandal about the Port Harcourt refinery. All the dance, the macabre dance that has ended in, went with the wind. That's that man I call serial liar, and you were uncomfortable last time.
I told you we couldn't use such words.
That I should not use such words.
Yes.
Now, how do you describe him?
Then there are other means.
No.
There are other ways you can
offer me one.
There are other ways you can just say he's not saying the truth.
He's not saying the truth.
Yes, that's a better way to say it.
I'm not, I'm speaking for my children. I'm speaking for the future of this country.
Yes, like I said, there are other means we can get to pass information in as much as we want to correct people. Like,
you see the problem we're having?
There are better means we can pass information and not use brutal words.
You see the problem we're having? The problem we're having is that we refuse to face reality. How can I use pen to frustrate the future of the unborn generation?
Well, we actually face reality.
And we call it mismanagement.
That's why we're having this conversation, to get stuff and then let the government hear our voices.
Now, the government knows what I'm talking about. Families-Nhrc knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
NNPC, the purpose why they set up NNPC is to take charge of the oil sector. Do you understand? The purpose of government is to secure lives and property of the citizen. Because by section 14 of the Constitution, power belongs to the people. That's the essence of government. Now, when government now turn around its existence to be for few individuals as against the majority, that's where the problem is. So what is happening now is, do you know till now that I'm talking to you, Families-Nhrc and his collaborators, since you don't like the word criminal, they are still importing.
It varies. You're not going to personalize this aspect.
No, it's not a matter of.
Yes, it's about here. It's about it here, because we're passing information. I've said it before that we educate and we miss. And
I'm very sure my audience, yes, they understand.
Entertain them.
Yes.
And let them know about things happening around them. That's so. In as much as we want to pass information,
yes,
there are certain words we cannot use to pass those informations.
Okay, these our leaders who don't mean well for us. Is that one okay? I sympathize with you, because when you watch channels like BBC and the rest of them, and they bring in an expert who understands the situation. There's one young man called Dr. Obele. He's from Eleme.
Yes. I
wrote something against him some time ago on the social media, and if he read it, he will not be comfortable, because he was now trying to defend NNPCL about the nonsense they are doing about as if you need rocket science to refine our crude oil. And this is the reality that we are facing. Now, let me say this to you. The market forces you are seeing, now they are increasing tax. Do you know in Ghana, they are lowering taxes so as to make the economy grow? Yeah. So what are we producing here that we are increasing tax? They are telling banks to tax us. On Saturday, I traveled to the village. I withdrew 10,000 naira. Yesterday, I went and withdrew another 10,000 naira. I just stood where I was withdrawing the money. I was asking myself, what is going on here? Go to the bank. The ATM are useless. The card is just for formality. If you want to get 200,000 now, you can get it from POS. Check how much you are going to part with. So you have money in an account, and then you are using your money to buy your money. What kind of system is this? Is something wrong with us? And then you tell me not to talk. I'm not comfortable. If you don't want me to talk, don't call me here again. Because I will not be, it's like sometimes when we go to court, and the judge will tell you, the judge will tell you, counsel, advise yourself.
Quickly,
yes.
I am not saying you cannot talk. You are, we accept you. So that's why I'm going to ask you, what is your thoughts about a particular situation, a particular story that is going on?
Okay, let me give the solution.
Because I want to get your thoughts. If I don't want to get your thoughts, I'll just say what I want to say or give my own ideology about the situation. Reasons why I ask is I want you to speak your mind. Like I said, in as much as you can also speak your mind, there are certain words you can't use. You can pass your messages as much as you want to pass them.
Okay, let me give you a solution.
That's what I meant.
So that it will not be as if we are merely talking without offering solution.
Okay.
This I am saying now is the solution to this problem. Because no matter the distance you put in prosecuting a journey in the wrong direction, you will never get to your destination. Okay. At any point and how far you have gone, that you realize that you are on the wrong trajectory, the only way forward is to return. In fact, sometimes I do that. If I realize that I missed my way, I can engage in false call and tell the person that you gave me a wrong direction, and I will retrieve carefully so that nobody can embarrass me or ask me what brought you here. Do you understand it?
Okay.
Nigerian leaders, Bola Tinubu, you are the petroleum minister. I am speaking to you. Our representatives that have abandoned us, I'm speaking to all of you. All of you know that there is problem in the land, which I call economic holocaust. And the foundation of this economic holocaust is oil, petroleum product. Because when transportation go up, it affects everything. It puts price on things. Even the cost of clearing goods at the harbor and all whatnot, they transfer these to the last consumer. So the way forward, stop killing, disband every tax force that you are using to killing the youth of the oil and gas producing areas. You have your youth in your different areas that you come from. I'm speaking for this youth, not that I'm into parallel refining. Collaborate with them. This is what is done in Senacrem in the world. Collaborate with owners of modular refineries. Give them our crude oil at subsidized rate and give them a matching order to refine this product. I assure you, under 1 month, there will be enough refined product in this country that we will even export. Nigerians cannot finish them. And that is going to crash the price of everything. Secondly, let us be sincere and give a matching order. You are the commander-in-chief. You are the petroleum minister. I finish with that one. Forget about your greed and your pride and answer this one.
Yes. You've made your thoughts about the government, putting things in place for the country, for the people to strive.
Yes.
But going towards the human rights situation, coming from NHRC,
yes,
we have that these fathers abandon families. Most of these parents actually have more children than they can cater for. Nobody is saying that, yes, you are not given the right thoughts, you're not given the right solution to the situation. But some of these parents, you can see some families that a particular family, a man, they're barely coping for themselves, husband and wife, and then they have 5 children. That you cannot cater for. Why do you have to keep giving birth? Why do you need to keep going back and forth having children that you cannot cater for?
Okay, this square situation we are facing now, that we are talking about, is from the north. Do you understand? Most of these people, they go... It
affects every aspect of the country, but this square one, yes, it's...
Most of these people, they go to farm.
Okay.
As I'm talking to you now, farm has been zero out because of insecurity. And the painful reality is that these people that are causing this problem are known to the government. They are foreign terrorists. They are not Nigerians. They are from the Sahel. These people cannot operate without the cooperation of the government. There are some school of thought that I've come across that I don't want to put them forth here. But what I'm saying in essence is that government is aware. These people that kill majority of our farmers. Do you know that in the north, even when, just like this example you gave to me, when the main harvest has taken place, people go to the farm and get leftovers.
Okay.
But you cannot talk about that as we are talking now, because they will harvest you and remove your organ.
Thank you.
That is the reality on the ground. So everything falls back to the government. This thing you are seeing is exacerbated.
We do not have to. We need to quickly say. I need to quickly say this. You say everything falls back to the government.
Yes,
well,
leadership.
I give you a scenario. Yes, leadership, like you said. I give you a scenario whereby a father, a mother, a couple.
Yes.
Give birth to more children than they can cater for. We know the situation of the country. We have actually spoken about the rising and falling of the economic value of the country. But when it comes to parental values, we see that some of these families can barely cater. Most of them, like you said, are farmers. Some of them are fishermen. Some of them are village men that just barely feed as the day passes by, but they have more children than they can cater for. Isn't it a situation where you can cut it down in childbearing? Since we're all trying to adapt to the situation of the country, nobody is saying that the government cannot do something about this. But personally, in your own aspect, in as much as you're trying to escape the hardship of the situation, isn't it better you reduce the number of children you birth so that you don't cause so much stress of catering for them on yourself?
Okay, now if you look at it, you realize that I can tell you plainly, there is reduction in birth rate presently. Do you understand it? Now, talking about, let's say you have a family that have 5 children, right?
Okay.
You can use the mathematical deleting procedure by eliminating some of the children. They are there. There's something you can do about it. They are already in part of the family. So what we are talking about now is survival. Do you understand it? It's enabling environment that will enable this one to survive. In fact, the way these things are done is that my family, I normally joke about it. I usually say we were a football team and a coach. We were 12. Not polygamous, right?
Okay.
2 died.
And at the time, your parents were able to cater for all of you.
Good. We are 10 now, right? I have only 2 kids. So I said, according to this Russian political philosophy, each according to his need, each according to his ability. So now, I said, those who need more children, God should give to them. I've hung my boot with only those 2 children. My daughter has finished her secondary school. I will be able to push the boy through the secondary school. He has entered now. Do you understand it?
Congratulations.
Now, if you can train these people who are coming up now on the need why they should not have more children. They will understand.
Okay.
But don't starve these people that exist to death. Create the enabling environment. It's just like the Japan syndrome we are talking about. Who will take that risk? Or bring most of the parents who are taking their children abroad and are training them there. They know the consequences. It is better to have your children, at least they can finish university here before you move them. Their mind have been made up. They are familiar with the environment. If they go, they will come back.
Okay, thank you.
Do you understand
much,
it?
Barry.
So let us look at things from that angle. We cannot kill the existing one, but let's make the environment okay while we are talking to the younger generation and tell them to reduce the number of children that they have.
Thank you so much about that. Thank you about your thoughts.